Hello everybody, welcome back. In this video we are going to learn about edit tools, and we will learn how we can use to edit our objects. So I think we should create some object, and then we will learn that how we can create a object. Let's create a table maybe, okay, and a very simple table we will create. So for the table I think we can create a shift A. We'll press shift A first of all. We'll go to bash and we can create a cube. We can scale this cube, but before that I will just go to edit mode, okay, and in edit mode we can just scale it to x-axis, and let's make it like this. We can scale it to y-axis, we can scale it to z-axis, and we will just make it small like this. Okay, this is the base of our table. So now you can see that we have this table, but we want to create the legs of the table. So for the creation of legs we can create some loops here. You can see that this table has only 4 this sections. So you can see this end and this one, and we want to need some loops here to these sides so that we can extrude the legs. So for creating loops we can press Ctrl R, okay, in edit mode, and then we will place it here. You can see we have this loop. We can increase these loops by pressing scroll mouse button, okay, with scroll, and then if we click here you can see now we can place it by again clicking. You can see these loops here. If we want to create loops to this side we can press Ctrl R, and then we can just create loops here as well. So it's up to you that how you can add loop cuts. And for the loop cuts you can have found the number of cuts. You can increase these cuts as well. We can cuts as well. You have the smoothness, etc., fallout, etc. You can do so as well. Okay, we will not to create these much loops. We will just move back, Ctrl Z, and for some reason screencast keys are disabled, so we will just enable it, and let's move back, Ctrl Z, and we want to create 2 loops to the 2 sides here. Okay, so for that purpose we will just press Ctrl R and only 2 loops, and then we will press click, and then we will press S X, and then we can scale it to the corners like this. Okay, so let's add it here, and now we want to add 2 loops here. So we'll press Ctrl R and then 2 loops, click S Y because it's y-axis, and then we will move it here. Okay, so now you can see we have these 4 sections. So now we need legs. So for legs we will just select this faces option. We can select these 4 faces with shift click. If you want to select a face here you can press left click. If you want to select this one you can press shift click. If you want to select this entire loop you can select this, and then you can press control click. It will select the whole section here, and then control click, and then control click, so it will select everything here. Okay, so these are very important shortcut keys. So we will select this by shift click, okay, and then we can go to front view by pressing 1. So this is the front view, and now we want to extrude it. Okay, so for extrusion we have a shortcut key E, and these actually properties are also available here as well. Okay, so this is the property of extrude. So if we click here we can extrude it as well. Okay, but the shortcut is E, and then if we want to extrude it to Z axis we will press Z, and then we will just move it like this. Okay, so now you can see we have created a very nice table. So this is a very simple example of creation of a very simple table, and similarly let's create a chair as well, so that we can learn how we can use the edit section, and how we can use the shortcut keys. So for the chair, we can definitely press shift A, mesh, and we can create a cube as well. We can place this cube as our desired space, as our desired section. We can press tab for the edit mode. We can press SZ to scale it. Okay, and yeah, this much is good. And now for the chair, we want some loops here, so let's create a loop here, 2 loops. Click SX, and let's add it here as a control R, double click SY. Okay, that's good. And now we will select this section, and we will just go to front view, press EZ to extrude it to Z axis. And if you want to keep it in a right direction, we can press actually the control key to keep it straight. So now we can just sorry, for some reason it's not straight. Anyhow, we will just move it here, no problem. And then this much we need for the legs of the chair. And then for the for this section, we can extrude it as well. So let's extrude it to Z axis, and we can just press shift control to keep it straight. And for some reason we have the problem here, so easy. Okay, and I don't know why. Okay, because we didn't enable the grid system, so that's why we are facing this problem. So if we will enable the snap to grids, it will be snap to the grids. But for now I will just press easy, and let's extrude it simply, and later on we will learn about that snapping as well. So now you can see we have a very simple chair as well. So you can see that it's very easy to create chairs and tables in Blender. Definitely the size of chair is not good. We can go to edit mode, or we can go to object mode, and we can scale it to get our desired size. Okay, so now we have learned how easily we can create some objects, but we have lot of options in edit mode. So we press edit, you can see that we have lot of options here. We have this option of annotate, which is related to just name some section. We have an option of measure. If we want to measure some object, we can measure it as well. We have an option of add cube. If we want to create a cube here to the sum section, you can do so as well. Okay, like this. So now this cube is created on this table. We also have an option of extrude. We can select any object, maybe this face, and we can extrude it like this. Okay, and we can select this and extrude it like this. We have certain more options in extrude, like manifold. We can, the very important is extrude individual. So if we, for example, select these 3 objects, and if we extrude it, you can see these are extruded as well. But as we have selected the extrude individual, so these parts will be separated, hopefully. So if we move it, you can see this is extruded into separate objects, separate extrusions. Similarly, we have certain more options, like you can see inset faces, etc. So we can just insert use this tool to create some insets as well, like this. Okay, so we have a option and shortcut key for this as well, so we can extrude it to and scale it as well, but we have some options here as well. We can also bevel the section, so if we select for example this loop maybe, and we can select the bevel here and we can bevel it as well. And whenever we bevel or we apply some tool, we have a lot of options here. We can increase the segments and like this, and now you can see our object is beveled here as well. We can also use this tool, which is loop tool, and with loop tool you can create some cuts here, okay, like this. And this is same tool which we are using with Control R. We also have this knife tool. With knife tool we can cut the section of our object like this, okay, like this. And now just double click to like this, and then click to, and again click to finish that, enter to finish this cut. Okay, so now you can see with knife tool we can cut sections like this as well. We also have a poly build tool which we can use to create poly builds like this. And here you can see we can just select this tool to extrude these sections a little bit. And actually whenever we didn't have joined two sections, this tool is important to create some polygons like this. Okay, so it is very important tool as well, and not very useful. We have spin tool as well. So the spin tool is can be used actually in object mode or edit mode as well. If you can see, if we are just selecting a vertex and then we are moving this with the spin tool, and you can see that vertices are generated here, and not only one vertex is moving, but it's creating a lot of vertices throughout the spin like this. Okay, so this is also useful for some sections. We have a smooth tool, so it will smooth out some selections. So for example, we can select this one and we can smooth it, and it will give us this type of effect. Okay, we also have a edge slip option, a slide option, where we can select it, and we can select a edge, and we can use this option to slide the edge like this. Okay, we can move the complete edge like this. Okay, so it's there are different methods here which we can use. We have also the shrink flatten option, where we can use it and we can shrink or flatten the our edge like this. Okay, and we have a option of shear, where we can select it the different section, and we can shear the object as well. Okay, like this, like in Photoshop. If you can imagine it, a tool like when we will press transform, and we can use the shear tool in Photoshop. Okay, so similarly like this, we can shear our object to all sides like this. And then we have a rip region section, which will cannot select the faces. Okay, rip region, where we can select an edge and we can rip another region from the region. So here you can see this, that this if you select this edge, if you move it, you will see that another region will be created here. Okay, if you move it, another region will be created, and it will be splitted out from the main object. So for understanding this, for example, we have this cube. We can select this cube and we can move it like this. We can select this cube section, we can move it like this. Okay, So in this way we can rip our object. So we can select this section and we can rip it, or sorry, we can move it like this and this section like this. Okay, so it's up to you that how you will use these tools. So these are different tools related to edit a window, and definitely we can use these tools as per our need, but usually in Blender we will use the shortcut keys, and most commonly used tools we will only use, not all the tools. That's it for this video. Next video we'll move further.